Imagine your dream road trip. You know, the one you plan for months.
Yeah.
Imagine it turning into, well, your worst nightmare. The kind of story people whisper about.
Okay.
We're talking about a young couple documenting their whole van life thing for the world to see.
Right, on social media. Lots of pictures.
Exactly. And then suddenly, it all just unravels into this terrifying mystery that, honestly, it gripped the entire nation. Everyone was asking.
What went wrong? What happened out there?
Precisely. So tonight, we're looking into the haunting story of Gabby Petito.
Yeah, this is a case that it really stuck with people. And you can see why.
Definitely.
You had Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. Summer of 2021, they set off on what, looked like this incredible adventure.
Country trip.
Right? Started in Florida, went up to New York briefly, then started heading west in Gabby's van, a white Ford Transit.
The plan was Oregon, eventually.
Yeah, Oregon was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And they were posting all about it. Instagram, YouTube, that channel, Nomadic Static.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that. And if you looked at their posts back then, June, July, it seemed perfect.
Totally perfect. All smiles,
You saw them at Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Then Zion in Utah, Gabby wrote something like, "The past 2 nights camping in Zion have been so cool, literally."
Right, and Mystic Hot Springs, also Utah, they seem to be having a great time.
And that YouTube video they posted in August, beginning our van life journey.
Yeah, that one showed them on the California coast, Utah, Salt Flats, camping, cooking. Just looked, well, carefree.
It really did. People were calling it relationship goals, all adventure, all love, that whole vibe.
That was definitely the image, the online image.
But as we found out, the reality behind those perfect pictures, well, it was much darker, wasn't it?
Yeah, much more disturbing. Social media, it rarely tells the whole story,
So true.
And there were signs, hints that things weren't quite so idyllic. One of the big ones, one of the earliest really troubling signs, happened in Moab, Utah.
Okay, Moab, let's talk about that. August 12th, right?
August 12th.
Yeah.
And it kicked off with a 911 call. Someone saw something disturbing.
Yeah, a witness called 911, reported a domestic dispute, said they saw the gentleman slapping the girl.
Oh, wow.
And that she was running up and down the sidewalk. Then he proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off. That's what the caller reported.
That's incredibly alarming. So police got involved.
They did. Pulled them over near Arches National Park, and there's body cam footage from that stop.
Right. I've seen clips. It's tough to watch.
It really is, especially knowing what happened later. Gabby was visibly distraught, very emotional.
You could just feel the tension, couldn't you?
Absolutely. And they both admitted things got physical. Gabby said she hit Brian first.
And Brian admitted pushing her.
Yeah. The officers there, they also kind of noted possible mental health struggles, the general stress of the trip causing friction.
It's just, even with that 911 call, the visible distress, the admissions, they didn't make an arrest. No. The police report framed it more like a mental health crisis or breakdown, not necessarily domestic violence. They decided it didn't rise to the level of chargeable crimes right then.
So they just separated them.
For the night, yeah. The idea was to let them cool off, prevent things from escalating further.
Hindsight is 20/20, obviously, but you have to wonder.
You do. Could a different intervention at that point have changed the outcome? It's impossible to know, but it's a question that hangs over this part of the story.
And later investigations did look into the police handling of it, didn't they?
They did. An independent review found, quote, unintentional mistakes by the Moab officers. They recommended more training, especially around domestic violence incidents.
So yeah, a reminder of how complex these situations are.
Definitely. And what's really striking is that on that very same day, August 12th, after all that drama,
Gabby posted on Instagram.
yeah, photos from Arches, smiling. The caption mentioned taking the path less traveled.
Wow. That takes on a whole different meaning now.
It really does. That contrast, the curated online life versus the brewing reality, it's stark. And Moab was where that reality really started to crack through the surface.
Such a disturbing contrast. Okay, so after Moab, we move towards the end of August, and this is when things get really quiet from Gabby's side.
Yeah, that regular contact she had with her family, especially her mom, it just stopped.
Which must have been terrifying for them.
Absolutely gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
The last confirmed sighting of Gabby, like someone actually seeing her, was August 24th, checking out of a hotel in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Her mom, Nicole Schmidt, had a FaceTime call with her around then. They thought Gabby was leaving Utah, heading for Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming.
So that was the plan, Utah to Wyoming.
That seemed to be the plan. The last actual phone conversation was the next day, August 25th. Gabby told her mom they were in Grand Teton, planning to go to Yellowstone next.
But her mom wasn't totally sure if they had actually left Grand Teton yet.
No, there was some uncertainty there.
And August 25th is also the date of her final Instagram post, right? Those pictures.
Yeah, the ones in front of that butterfly mural. That was the last thing she posted publicly.
But then the texts after the 25th, those were weird.
Very weird. Especially that one on August 27th. From Gabby's phone to her mom.
What did it say again?
It said, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls."
Stan.
Stan was her grandfather. But her mom said Gabby never called him Stan. Ever.
Okay, yeah, that's a huge red flag. Immediately suspicious.
Huge. Her mom knew something wasn't right. And apparently Gabby had mentioned in earlier talks that there was, growing tension with Brian on the trip.
So that text, combined with the lack of communication, it just screamed that something was seriously wrong.
Exactly. A really ominous sign.
And while Gabby's family is getting these worrying signals, or rather this worrying silence, Brian Laundrie reappears.
Yeah. September 1st, he arrives back in Northport, Florida, where they lived with his parents.
In Gabby's van.
In the van. But he's alone.
Just shows up alone. No explanation.
No public explanation, no. He returns to his parents' house. And the silence from him regarding Gabby's whereabouts, it was deafening, especially for her family.
I can only imagine. And then the police try to talk to him.
Right. On September 10th, investigators approach him. He refuses to speak.
Just flat out refused.
Yep. Gave them his lawyer's contact information and clammed up. The van, Gabby's van, was recovered by police at the Laundrie home around that time.
That lack of cooperation so early on, that doesn't look good.
Not at all. It was a massive warning sign for law enforcement and, of course, for Gabby's desperate family.
So the next day, September 11th, Gabby is officially reported missing by her mother.
Yes, and things move quickly then. By September 13th, the family is holding press conferences, pleading for information, for help finding Gabby.
Heartbreaking to watch.
Truly. And then just 2 days later, September 15th.
Laundrie is named a person of interest.
Correct. Police put out a statement saying, basically, Brian hadn't made himself available, wasn't providing any helpful details.
Yeah. And Gabby's family, through their lawyer, they made it clear they believed he knew more, right?
Oh, absolutely. Their statement was raw, expressing desperation, accusing him of hiding while Gabby was potentially alone and in danger somewhere. They begged him to say something, anything.
The pressure was mounting. And then a potential breakthrough came from an unexpected source.
Yeah, this was pretty incredible. Some YouTubers, travel vloggers, were reviewing footage they'd shot earlier.
When was the footage from?
Late August. August 27th, specifically. And they realized they might have filmed Gabby's van.
Where?
In the Spread Creek Dispersed Camping Area. It's this sort of remote spot right on the edge of Grand Teton National Park.
Wow, so they reported it.
They shared it, yeah.
Yeah.
This led the FBI to put out a call asking anyone who might have been in that specific area between August 27th and 30th to contact them.
And did that lead to something?
Tragically, yes. On the evening of September 19th, the same day that footage really gained traction, the FBI announced they'd found human remains in that Spread Creek area.
Oh.
Gabby's family was notified immediately. It was the news everyone had been dreading.
And the confirmation came soon after.
Just 2 days later, September 21st, the Teton County coroner confirmed the remains were Gabby Petito. And the initial determination was homicide.
Homicide. Just devastating. So the search for Gabby was over, but the search for answers and for Brian Laundrie was intensifying.
Exactly. The focus shifted completely.
And then we got the specific cause of death later on.
Yes. On October 12th, the Teton County coroner, Dr. Brent Blue, made the announcement.
And it was chilling.
It was. He determined Gabby Petito died by strangulation.
Strangulation. Just horrific.
He estimated her body had likely been out there, exposed to the elements, for about 3 to 4 weeks before discovery on September 19th.
So placing her death somewhere in late August, potentially not long after that last contact.
That seemed to be the time frame, yeah. Though he couldn't give an exact date of death, he also confirmed she was not pregnant, which had been some speculation online.
Just awful. The violence of it.
It really underscores the brutality of what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
Strangulation is, it's inherently personal and violent. It painted a very grim picture of her final moments.
And while all this is unfolding, the investigation into Gabby's death, the focus on Laundrie, he disappears too.
Right, just as he's named a person of interest, basically. His parents reported him missing on September 17th.
They said they last saw him when there was some confusion there.
Yeah, initially they said September 14th, and they corrected it to September 13th. They said he told them he was going hiking in the Carlton Reserve.
And the Carlton Reserve in Florida, that's like a huge wilderness area, right?
Yeah.
Swamps, difficult terrain.
Extremely vast and challenging, over 24,000 acres. Searching it was a massive undertaking for law enforcement. His disappearance just added this whole other frantic layer to the case.
And raised so many more questions. Was he fleeing? Was something else going on?
Exactly. Then, on September 23rd, things took another turn. A federal arrest warrant was issued for Laundrie.
But not for Gabby's murder, right?
No, not directly. It was for the unauthorized use of a debit card, Gabby's debit card, after her death. Specifically, activities between August 30th and September 1st.
So evidence he was using her finances while she was missing or already deceased?
Correct. It allowed authorities to officially pursue him on a federal charge.
And the search in Carlton Reserve went on for weeks.
It did. It was difficult, hampered by weather, flooding, very tough conditions. Until October 20th.
What happened then?
Partial human remains were found in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, which is connected to the Carlton Reserve, an area that had previously been underwater.
And they suspected it might be him.
They did. Some of his personal items, like a backpack and a notebook, were reportedly found nearby.
And the confirmation
Came the very next day, October 21st. The FBI confirmed, using dental records, that the remains belonged to Brian Laundrie.
So the manhunt was over, but the central tragedy remained.
Yes. The mystery of his whereabouts was solved, but the why and the full picture of what happened to Gabby, that was still unfolding.
And eventually, we learned how Brian Laundrie died.
We did. It was later announced that he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
And the ruling was suicide.
Correct. Ruled a suicide, which brought a sort of grim finality to his part of the story.
And the notebook found near him that contained.
According to the FBI, yes. That notebook contained written statements where Brian Laundrie claimed responsibility for Gabby Petito's death.
A confession, essentially.
That's how the FBI characterized it. It provided, a significant piece of the puzzle, confirming what many suspected.
So the FBI eventually closed the case.
They did. In January 2022, the FBI Denver Division announced the conclusion of their investigation.
And their final word was?
The special agent in charge, Michael Schneider, stated, "All logical investigative steps have been concluded in this case." And crucially, the investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito.
So they believe he acted alone.
Based on their investigation and the evidence, including the notebook, that was their conclusion. Sole responsibility rested with him.
Such a profoundly sad outcome. But Gabby's family, in the face of this unimaginable loss, they chose to create something positive.
They really did. They established the Gabby Petito Foundation.
And their mission is powerful.
It really is. They state it clearly. Turn our tragedy into purpose. They aim to help families find missing loved ones, address domestic violence, and try to prevent these kinds of tragedies from happening to others.
They also set up the Gabby Petito Alliance.
Yes, as part of the foundation, offering resources and support. It's an incredible testament to their strength, wanting to honor Gabby by helping others.
And they're trying to reach all communities, which is so important.
Absolutely. They emphasize supporting everyone because these issues sadly cut across all demographics. They even have an online store where proceeds go towards the foundation's work.
It's inspiring. Now, we also have to touch on the role of social media throughout this whole case. It was huge.
Unprecedented, almost. The level of public attention was massive. You mentioned TikTok earlier, reports of over 500 million views related to the case.
Mind-boggling numbers.
It really highlighted how these cases play out now in the digital age. You had millions of people acting as armchair detectives.
Poring over every detail, right? The body cam footage, their Instagram posts, the van sightings.
Sharing theories, tips, sometimes helpful, sometimes maybe not so helpful, but the engagement was undeniable.
And in this case, it actually seemed to make a difference. That YouTuber footage.
Yeah, the van sighting video from Spread Creek. That was widely credited with helping investigators narrow down the search area where Gabby's remains were ultimately found.
It's like that quote someone used, Instagram becoming the new milk carton photo, but reaching way more people way faster.
It's a powerful tool for visibility, no doubt. But it also raises questions, doesn't it?
It's like what?
Well, the sheer volume of speculation, the potential for misinformation to spread like wildfire, and the intense scrutiny, sometimes harassment, that anyone connected to the case faces online.
True. And there was also discussion about missing white woman syndrome, wasn't there?
Yes, significant discussion. Why did this case capture so much more media and public attention than cases involving missing people of color? It's a valid and important critique of media coverage and societal bias.
Definitely something to think about. So bringing it all together, it's just a heartbreaking story from start to finish. The dream trip, the hidden tensions, the disappearance, the discoveries.
And the final confirmation from the FBI that Brian Laundrie was solely responsible for Gabby's death. It provides investigative closure, but the loss for her family is immeasurable. The questions about those final moments, they'll probably always linger.
But her legacy lives on through the foundation.
Absolutely. The Gabby Petito Foundation is doing vital work, trying to make a difference, keeping her memory alive in a really positive way. It's a powerful reminder to support victims, help find the missing, and be aware of the signs of domestic violence.
Gabby's story, ultimately, it's a chilling reminder, isn't it? That things aren't always what they seem online behind those perfect photos.
Yeah. The importance of looking deeper, paying attention to the signs, and maybe reaching out if you sense someone's in trouble, it's a lesson that stays with you.
It really does. If you found our look into Gabby's story thought-provoking, maybe even unsettling, and you want to stay informed on cases like this, please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And follow us on Spotify, too. Your support really helps us keep exploring these complex and often disturbing events. We appreciate you tuning in.